sure the audio levels are good, to be honest. Because if the audio levels aren't good, okay, that's alright. I'm gonna go a bit louder. Malin's gonna be mad if I don't set these correctly. Alright, there we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, we got an echo. Nah, okay, I saw that. Oh. Marin. Marin. Is that gonna start allowing the chat box? Marin, are the audio levels any good? Marin. Jan, okay, let me just drag you over there. Oh, I thought that would allow it. Marin, can you check the audio levels so that I know?
Yo.
Hello, hello. Let me just make sure the audio levels are good before I go into it, so we don't have any anything wrong.
Yo.
Check audio levels. Let me just make sure this is going to look nice. If I do this one. We look a little bit better. Audio's good. Can you hear Brat when he was speaking well? Okay, just message me if it's not, because there we go. Let me know if it's not any good audio levels, because then I'll adjust it. So we'll get rid of this now. Pick up the cheeky.
Doing more work than 90% of podcasts just by mixing.
I got my cheeky Spotify, you know, dark kind of funk music in the back.
I've been really surprised like how high a production budget can be, and it's like somebody didn't give it one watch through and hear that the sound mixing was completely off.
Oh, it's
Sad.
shocking. I've seen some of the worst. Even myself, I remember when I used to be a videographer and I used to charge like $2,000 for something, and I'd still be like, damn, I fucked this up. Let me quickly pop a quick snoozy in, and then we'll get started. Let me get my phone as well, so I can make sure I've got some of my notes. Wow, look at your presence already breaking my view record, bro.
Nice.
Let's pop up some of my notes as well, so that I can have stuff to bounce back and forward to. How prepared. Wow. Awesome. Well, it's good to have you on, Brat.
Thanks, man.
How long has it been since we met? Oh, this is
I don't know.
yeah, this is a tough one.
You tell me.
I'd have to say
Few years, right?
yeah, 2 maybe 3 years.
Yeah. Call it 3.
Man, I was like fresh into crypto, random Discord servers and stuff. The actual days back then. It was Citadel Discord, and I was that guy who always flicked the camera on.
Yes.
All right, so
With your shirt off.
when have I? Oh yeah, I don't remember the last time you know, to this day, I've known you for 2 years. I've never called you by your real name, and I've never seen your face. But we've tried to make plans a couple times to go to Japan, or I come to the US or something like that. And to this day, I still don't know what you look like.
Well, come to Seattle, man.
Yeah, that'll be on the to-do list, honestly. But may as well get started. I don't want to start off with such a basic question, but man, like, you know, where did it all start? The trading journey.
Well, I started out working on Wall Street, but not as like a trader or an analyst. I just worked for like like a broker dealer who did like a lot of like algo execution on thinly traded stuff for our clients, and I was just kind of like a liaison between our traders and like the clients we were providing execution to. But like interacting with our traders kind of is what got me interested in trading. So I would say that's, like maybe not, that's probably not how most people get into trading, but
The pushing
that's how it happened for
force.
me.
Like, and being on, well, like the floors amongst people and the environment, is it like it is portrayed in like the movies of Wall Street? You know, we see Wolf of Wall Street, we see the videos online and stuff like that of the behavior of people on Wall Street. Is that is it similar to that, or is that just more of just, you know, social media pushing some things?
Maybe at some of the more high profile places, but everyone I worked with was very tame, just like they'd be taking a train home to Connecticut after work to their wife and kids.
So yeah, it was basically just a
But
casual.
yeah, but like it was a really fun job. I got to meet like tons of cool people. Anyone who came to the exchange. Um, the booth I worked at was like right next to like the Fox News booth. It was cool getting to talk to some of those anchors. I got a lot of connections, obviously. I'm not gonna say exactly where I worked, but I worked under Chris Martin and Tim Maloney.
I'm gonna have to do some research on who they are. Are they like figures in this? Not necessarily like, well, yeah, figures in the space of trading and Wall Street.
No, they're just I guess if you worked at the exchange, you would know them. I don't know. I think Tim's at like Valeri Group now, and I don't know what Chris is up to.
Did you get, no, I wouldn't say like mentored by them, but was there like a situation where like you got to really see or be inspired by the people around you in that kind of zone?
Not those two specifically. Those two were just like my managing directors. So it was more like my interactions with the traders we had at the firm.
Yep. How useful was the skills that you learnt there at the firm to like what you're using to this day and age?
Fucking nothing. Yeah,
Really?
I didn't learn anything there. That's just kind of what sparked my interest. Everything they were doing there is like very high level tooling, like really good like execution, and addition to the other perks you get as being a floor sponsored broker dealer. It's nothing like trading uh like as a retail trader.
So what made you from that scene that you were in kind of, well, of course, swerve off into doing retail trading instead?
Well, really because my role at that firm had nothing to do with actually trading. I worked with traders,
Yep.
but I was just I'm not the kind of person who is wants like a day job where I'm going in every day to an office. I kind of like to make my own hours and just like do with my time what I want to. Mainly because I have a bunch of interests, so if I want to just not work for a month and just hyper focus on something I'm interested in, it like affords me that opportunity. So it really just came from wanting a bit more freedom with my time.
Oh, and you'd have so much more freedom. It is just, well, I mean, the online world where you're on your own time, you can also think the way that you want to think and not be told, hey, you should be doing this, you should be thinking like this. You reckon you went further because of that instead of having to show up at an office to trade?
Not really sure what you mean.
So, based off you going out and doing your own research and looking for the information for you to become a better trader, do you think you performed better after becoming a retail trader than if you had stayed and learnt kind of the path that they would have given you?
Oh, um, I think so, yeah. Uh, Trading with your own money is completely different than trading with someone else's money.
What
Um,
kind of like, is that because of the emotional factor?
yeah, because especially if you're trading as your main source of income, the pressure to make money is on, right? Because you have to make so much money a month to pay your bills, right? But if there isn't a trade, there just isn't a trade. So you have that constant push and pull between only wanting to take good trades and needing to make money, right? But
Yeah,
if you work as a trader for a firm or a bank, the
the
like sure
wage.
you have your overall performance, right? Like benchmarks, but if the trade isn't there, the trade isn't there, right? It's no skin off your nose.
Yeah, so you take a lot more of
You're
accountability
not going to be fault. Yeah, you're not going to be faulted for that.
versus, well, I guess, well, as a retail trader, it's all on your shoulders. You have to learn, you have to take those risks. Did you
Yeah,
have,
you don't have a bunch of people standing over your shoulder saying, "No, that would be very stupid to do," or even having the power to like actually stop you from trading. Like
oh, that's
your
a
risk
fair
director.
point.
You
Yeah,
know.
because that could hinder you a lot. Then it's, well, of course, a double-edged sword when it comes to, you're going to make that mistake and you're going to learn really well, but or versus someone just telling you, hey, don't do that.
exactly, right? You have more than yourself holding you accountable when you work with other people and for other people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the biggest enemy for traders is themselves. So you're having to trade with someone who's your enemy.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one because psychology in the trading game is such a big one. Because if I'm thinking from the average trader's perspective right now, everyone's in that kind of situation where they're trying to get their start, their momentum going. A lot of people are still have their jobs and they're trying to break out into that zone. When you were in that zone of trying to break out and having a sufficient capital to trade full time, sustain, and grow that capital, what was like the headspace for you in that moment of like you have to succeed to make a living? Like when it's you're at that desperate point where it does matter.
Oh, well, I've had a bunch of those. um, are you asking me like what does that look like, or like how to get over that, or I'm confused what
Well,
exactly the question was.
well, first I'd like to actually know about it. Like, what was the situation that you were in to where you had that moment or period in time or moments where you yourself, um, how did you like? What was going through your brain, and how did you manage it? And a bit about like the actual moment and a bit of details as well of the story behind it.
Um, well, I first started trading stocks when I started trading for myself. That was going really, really good, and I hadn't, I'd made a few $100,000 at that point that year. Um, and I hadn't really taken any losses. Like it was like, the
Wow.
typical like new successful trader. I was like basically felt invincible, right? I was top blasting everything. It was working out. So ZERP era was nice. Um, and then I got into crypto. Um, also at like a pretty fortunate time. Like right, like the 2019, 2020 like bull run. But that is also where I took my biggest losses. Um, I made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money, and probably my worst. I can't name like all my worst experiences, but the one I remember the most is probably I think it was 2020 or 2021. I had like a link long. It was like a few $100,000 position size, which for me was huge at the time. Um, and uh, there was I forgot, was it the COVID? I think it was the COVID flash crash,
Yeah.
and I just kept the link just kept dipping. I kept longing it, just DCing and more. And there was just at some point I looked at my PNL and it finally crossed the hundred, like the minus six figures mark, right? I was in the hole bad, but like the second it hit six figures, I just like it completely changed. I closed the trade. I was like completely fucking depressed. I got super drunk that night, and then I woke up the next day and made it all back.
Really?
Yeah. So I was very lucky.
I kind of want to
It went back up as fast as it crashed. So
yeah.
you know,
I want to come back a little bit though, because you started the story off with making your first couple 100,000 in stocks itself, but what was it like just before making that money? making those first where, if someone makes, I mean, in this day and age, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, they can sit in their chair and be like, okay, cool, I can do this full time now. But even before that, what was the position like?
Okay, all right. I just thought of something really interesting. It's like a way, maybe something I haven't even realized till now is that okay, we know how there's this like meme of like someone who's new to trading and makes a bunch of they're very successful at first, right?
Yep.
And then for some reason, the more they learn about trading and the more they trade, the more they lose all the money they earned and then more, right?
Yep.
Very common, happens to most people who trade actually.
And that's
Um, and I think the reason for that maybe is because if you're a new trader, then that means that you weren't trading before for money, right? Because then you aren't a new trader, right? So that means you have a job, right? And you're not staring at the charts all day, and you're also not pressured to take a trade. So you're more likely to have only been taking trades that were just so obvious and like so much of a home run and on like a bigger time frame, right? Because humans think in, you know, days and weeks, right?
yep.
In terms of like narratives. Um, so you really were just making better trades. The average person was making better trades at the start, but when you decide to start trading for a living, right? And then all your money from when you had a real job starts drying up, and you kind of like churn through your money, and now all the money you have is from trading, right? Um, that's when it starts to get hard, right? Because now you have to trade for a living, whereas before you didn't,
And you think the
because you quit your
psychology,
fucking job. The second you become a trader for a living, you become a worse trader.
and do you think that's all because of
So
psychology?
that's why everyone when they start trading, there's that weird kind of like there's that weird kind of like success curve, right? Where you're very successful at first and it drops and then it has to slowly come back up if it ever does.
Mm, that is very popular. Very popular, and every single trader knows about that. Do you think it's all because of the psychology of like, I need to place a trade, not just, oh, I can place a trade. My
Oh,
trades look too
absolutely.
good.
Like in addition to a bunch of other things. You know, the more you trade, the more likely you're going to want to look for more trades, which means if there isn't a trade, you're gonna have a compulsion to go to a lower time frame to look for it. Whereas
Mm,
before, and you didn't know anything about trading, you would just like, oh, well, the Google search results page has a daily chart, right? And well, it just so happens to be that the daily chart's a pretty good chart to look at, right? And the
yeah.
5 minute chart, not so much. So there's just like a bunch of like biases that build up as you start trading that actually make you a worse trader at first.
And
Like after you start trading and you want to learn more, you just get worse.
so, at what point did you quit your job?
Um, I mean, I quit my job before I was successful at trading. Like I had a bit of I'd made some money, like I had like some saved up, right?
Hmm.
And in addition to that, I moved back with my parents, so it's not like I'd be
Your costs were
spending that
low.
much money,
Yeah.
right? Not a lot of bills. And I kind of just like honed my trading as you know, lived off lived off what I saved up with my parents.
And do you think that was was that like a benefit to your mental?
In what way?
Relying on your parents necessarily for bills, for food, meals. Like you didn't have outside distractions. You could really just kind of sit down and know that your suite for X amount of months to sit here and give trading a go. Was that your mindset coming into it?
Yeah, it made it very easy, right?
Hmm.
There was no pressure to get in a trade. At least not financial pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And
Just greed, obviously.
because I think, well, if we're looking at every trader's, well, not necessarily every traders, but the most common situation amongst traders right now, they have their job and they're buying, um, you know, accounts and they're trying to pass them. Do you think that that is a perfectly fine kind of strategy to get going? Because I know, a lot of people that are making money from their payouts. Um, and that's how they're getting their start with large amounts of capital and larger profits that they're making to grow their own account size necessarily.
Yeah, prop firms they're pretty sweet deal, as long as you're with a good one. Um, like some of their rules make it a bit hard for people who run certain strategies to be profitable. But other than that, like if you're a good trader and you don't have a lot of capital, a prop firm is an amazing, like one of the best ways you can get capital to start up.
Yeah, Demi-Moose just
But
injected. I'm thinking about it as
most
well.
people aren't going to be, it's it's a war zone on ESNMQ. I'll say that. Uh,
Because of props, do you reckon?
no, just it in general. It
Yeah.
can be hard to. It takes a certain like style of trading, right? And you have to be very disciplined when you're trading equity futures because you know before you know it, you're going through 2, 3, 4 days worth of levels, and like there's no retrace. You think you're getting out of the bad trade you're in. Nah, you should have cut that way soon. It just gets bad really quick, and before you know it, your account's blown, right?
Yeah. With those people with props, guys, message in the Twitch channel the questions, not my DMs, please. Thank you. Um, we have a question here from Marin. How would you structure your days so that the compounding effect of learning is inevitable?
How would I structure my day? Um, well, I would start off by I feel like I'm gonna say what just a lot of people who try to tell people to trade are gonna say, but I'll say it anyways. You need to be prepared for the day. That means you should be waking up at least 30 minutes before the New York session because trying to jump right into a trade because you opened up your phone and you see like Bitcoin curling up and you want to like just jump into that trade is like the worst thing you could do. You need to be up 30 minutes early so you can see where you are in daily ranges and even like maybe like theoretical trades you would take so that way when they happen you're not sitting here scrolling out and looking to see if this is a good place on the daily chart while everyone else is bidding and you like miss a lot of the trade, right? So waking up before you trade is very important. And this sounds lame, but most people are going to like have to journal their trades, right? It's it's if you can make mistakes and learn from them without writing them down and actually not repeat them, please DM me because you're probably like the smartest human being ever. I don't know anyone who's ever been able to do it. So You have to write everything down, why you took the trade, like everything, because then next time that happens, you can boom, you can look at what you wrote down. And you're like, oh, I wanted to take a trade for this same exact reason 3 or 4 times, and it hasn't worked even fucking once, right? So you need to journal your trades. Um, what else would I say? I would say trade until you're like 80% tired or 80% tired of trading instead of 100% for the day. Do everything 80%, not 100.
That's an interesting one. I like that one.
Um, obviously get good sleep. Um, not too much coffee.
Not too much.
Don't want to be too jittery. Don't want to jump the gun.
What do you think of cellular
Other
abuse?
than that, like that's all I can think of. It's not really something I actively think about on a day-to-day basis at this point. But if I think of some other tips, I'll be sure to share them.
We've got another question from Samantha. She said, "What's your opinion on CFD versus futures?"
Mm, so one thing I don't like about CFDs, it's there has been like a lot of controversy about the integrity of like matching and who is privy to the flow, right? I would say as long as you're with a good as long as you're trading as a good prop firm, I don't think you have much to worry about. There's a bunch. So
Fair enough. We got which simple habit helped you become a better trader? You kind of already covered the topic, but what do you reckon is like the number one habit that kind of you were like, oh, I'm sticking with this because I know the difference?
what do you mean?
Like just a simple habit that kind of you've always stuck with because you've always seen that when you're trading, the difference between if you don't stick with it or when you stick with that habit.
Oh, okay. So always wait for a good entry. Um, because even if you're right, you get stuck in this loop where you're not buying where you should buy. You end up selling at a loss. Um, where it actually turns around, I guess. And I'm trying to think how to explain this. There's this like kind of like lost loop I found myself in a few times uh when I was learning how to trade. And I would like buy the top of this like small consolidation range waiting for a breakout. And then it would go back to the bottom of the range. I'm really not like in that much loss. But then I just close at the bottom of the range. It would go right back to the top of the range. And I would just do that over and over and over. And it just finally breaks out my direction. Whereas if I just put a limit at the bottom of the range and walked away, I would have never had the compulsion to close so many times in a row. Right. So um strategy be damned. The most important thing is you at least have a good entry, right?
Mm.
The strategy has to be insanely good for you to have a bad entry and not deal with the psychological effects of it.
Yeah, even
It's like
someone
that's
like
why that's why
myself.
humans are bad at trend trading, right? Because it has very low win rate and all of the returns are from like outliers, right? So they all come from those ones where you have to hold like a super long time. And those are all things that humans are bad at. It's very hard to trade a strategy with a low win rate.
Mm. I'll let the questions stack up here a little bit, but I want to go back to after 2021 when you were starting to really see your performance start heading in the right direction. Once you kind of realized early on that, you know, you're gonna take this route with your life and be a trader, and you're in that position where you've made a few 100,000, and this, you know, this was back in like you said, 2021. What was that like change where you were just consistent every single day? Like how did that kind of stem to where you are now and the volume that you're doing now and your trades and everything like that? Where did you, I'm trying to ask the right direction of question here. Is there a specific moment when you're like, you knew that you were outperforming, you know, of course, 99% of traders lose money in 1%. And when you kind of took your wealth and just multiplied the crap out of it, what was that like? It's quite a broad question, if I'm fair.
Let me think about that one for a sec. Like from a trading perspective, or like a personal perspective, or
Honestly, I want the personal.
um, it's a hard question to answer. Um, I don't know. I guess just like not that I was much of a pessimist before, but like just you know an overall more optimistic view on life. I don't know. Could you? Does that mean I was depressed? I don't know. You know, I just felt like I could basically like do anything, right? If I can beat the market, like it was one of the hardest problems to solve.
Was there any a moment in your life where something happened that really affected your emotional state and your trading performance?
Oh yeah, every day. Just it could be anything. You know, I've told a lot of people this recently because I just recently learned it and I was kind of shocked by it. But anytime you're focusing on something and you're like kind of in a flow state and you get interrupted or distracted, it can take up to 15 minutes for some people to get back to be able to focus at the same level or get back in that flow state.
Mm,
15 minutes every single time there's a small distraction, right?
yeah.
So find a place where you can do your thing without distractions.
I remember when we were on the call the other night and you were talking about this, and I remember it clicking in my brain and being like, oh my god, the amount of times that I can just think of, like, I break my level of focus and instantly, and you were mentioning, I remember it was your cat would sometimes come up to you and that would break your level of confidence, like something's that simple. And when you're in that flow state, that simple distraction there instantly.
Exactly. If you like have if you're worrying about any other responsibilities, you know,
Yeah.
uh, that's not only does it take away your mental focus, if you actually do go to leave to do that, that's when the trade's gonna happen and you're gonna miss it. So,
Mm, yep. But was there ever a situation where something happened and it affected you for months? Not just in the moment, but something that can consistently affected you for months on end?
I mean, yeah, just like, breakup stuff.
Mm.
But other than that, there was nothing like trading related that happened. I've always had a lot of fun figuring out how to trade anything, no matter what it is or what the current environment is. So I just see it as a challenge.
Good way to put it, to be honest. Because a lot of people, they have their moments when they're trading when they were, very successful, and maybe then they have a month or two period where they're just not hitting, like they did the previous months. Has that, well, of course, that's kind of happened to you. And your recommendation would be for people to look at that like a challenge and not waver necessarily.
Say that again? I missed the last part.
In the moment of when you're going through those months where people are successful during their trading, and then they have a month or two of bad trading, your recommendation would be to see it as a challenge and not necessarily, well, the mindset behind it would be the recommendation.
Yeah, that's how you have to see everything, or else you're never. Because if you don't see it as a challenge, then you're most likely trying to make excuses or find reasons for failure outside of yourself, right? Which,
Mm.
whether or not they're true, whether or not the reason you failed is outside yourself, that's literally completely pointless and useless to think about, right? Because that
Yeah.
doesn't help you change your situation.
And even then, at the end of the day, if you're right or wrong about the situation, the best way is to look at it as a challenge. It doesn't matter
Hmm.
even what perspective you're looking at it from. The highest and strongest mindset to it would be to face it as a challenge.
Yes, yeah, and that's how you're going to achieve anything that requires like iterative improvement, right?
Mm.
It's like you have a bunch of different layers of like sieves, right? And you're you as a current trader, let's just like say a trader is like a big bucket of like dirt with a bunch of different particles in it, right? And some of those are like diamonds and gold, right? So you put everything in the top of the first sieve, you get out like any like big fucking rock. So, you know, that would be the equivalent of like your very basic like fundamental like trading knowledge, right?
Yep.
You just want to like that's you getting out all like the worst practices, right? And then as you slowly start to go down the stack of sieves, you're you're left with only the good stuff, right? So if you are honest, it's being honest with your performance and yourself and writing things down and seeing what you did wrong is almost it's like almost magic, right? Because how can you not get better if you stop doing everything that's wrong, right? If you're only doing good stuff, success is guaranteed, right?
Yep.
And anyone can do that because if you just write down what you did in the trade and that it didn't work, don't do that again, and then you just keep doing that until you have this huge list of things not to do. And if you don't take a trade when you see something on that list, then the trades you do take you're probably going to keep the money, right?
Yep.
You're only going to be taking good trades. It's impossible not to win.
Yeah, I think that's the main area people are kind of that they don't comprehend because well, there's thousands of strategies out there at the end of the day, and it's always changing. But at the root of the core of it, it's about avoiding the things you're not meant to do.
Exactly. I always love the inverted thinking is how, in my opinion, I have found success in life, right?
Mm.
You, especially in trading, is there's going to be a million strategies and a million different people telling you how to trade, right? But there's like way less information about how not to trade.
Yeah, that is a good point. Actually, I've got a bunch more questions here from viewers, so I'll shoot you a couple questions and then we'll get back to more of the topic. Um, did you notice any patterns that repeat themselves when you're trading at your best?
Um, yeah, good time management.
Time management.
The better I get um at trading, the the more I'm kind of becoming like a time-based trader, if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Um, uh, I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, but it kind of bleeds into like every area of life, right? You have like you wake up, you do your prep, you trade the New York session, which opens at the same time when it does open, right? And you have this kind of the schedule that you stick to every day, right? And the reason why having like a routine like that is important is because it is easy to identify deviations in it and then notice those deviations effects on something like your trading, right? It's very hard to improve as a person and compound skill, money, knowledge if you aren't in a routine.
Do you or would you also say that the markets behave specifically to that trading time?
Well, yes, but and that's because the markets were made by other successful people who also realized this.
Hmm. We got. Can you recommend any good slash useful trading books?
Um, yeah, the ones I recommended to you earlier, they were The Alchemy of Finance, um, by George Soros, Reflexivity and Economics, which is just like two editors editing and commentating on a bunch of George Soros's writings. Um, Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. And honestly, with him, you could stop at this book. But if his like personality doesn't put you off, then Black Swan and Anti-Fragile are pretty good in that order.
Both with Black Swan. Yeah. Yeah. If you had to
That's
read,
from like a high. That's like a high level like contrarian view, right? And the reason why contrarian views are better, in my opinion, or like learning to like turn things on its head, is because um you usually are earlier, right? And you can be smart or you can be early, right? And one of those is way easier than the other, right?
yeah,
But you can kind of cheat because you sometimes you can be smart to be early, right? So that's where the flipping things on its head comes into play, right?
mm, if you had to rebuild your edge from scratch tomorrow, how would you do it and where would you start?
I had to build my scratch from tomorrow. Um, okay. I would say I know what I want to say. I'm just thinking of how to say it. Give me a second. Okay. Um, start at the end and go backward. That's what I'd say.
Start at the end and go backwards.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain that?
Um, so instead of having a set of conditions and then going and see if there were good trades when those conditions are met is a fool's errand. And it's like totally inefficient thinking. What you want to do is look at what these set of conditions are when you want it to be in the trade. So you look at where, instead of having a strategy and then seeing if it's profitable, see at where the profit was made and what the conditions were when the profit was made. Right?
Mm.
We have the luxury of doing that, right? So
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because
and it's the difference may not seem like there's any difference. But if you close the trading view chart and think about it, there is, right?
wait, what do you mean if you close the trading view chart?
Um uh I'm trying to think how to put this. Because if you if you take what I said, most people's natural instinct is then, oh well, he means like go to trading view and then put a bunch of indicators on the chart and see what those indicators were reading at major tops and bottoms, right?
Yep.
That's not what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it that when I say that, that's to stop the compulsion to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be on the chart, right? Because the chart, everyone can see. Like the more you're using something where all the info's in the same place, the less likely it's you're going to find an edge or alpha there, I guess.
Okay, that's interesting. I haven't actually heard of that one.
Because like RSI being 70 or 30 isn't a condition, right? It's emergence, right? It is like the effect of price having already done its thing
Yeah.
and not and since everything on TradingView chart an indicator is basically, I know this isn't 100% true, but it's like derived from the price, right? That
Mm-hmm.
means everything that you're seeing already happened. That information is not useful. That's not alpha. It's by definition not alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, because well, I mean, all of you guys that I speak to, of course, you and Sandal, are always telling me not necessarily to predict, but always react when trading. Because predicting, I mean, no one can predict the markets, only speculate. And so it's always a better
Right.
situation for you to react. Which,
Well, yeah, it's like React, but within, how can I put this? So you have like a thesis or like a, a mental model of how the market works, right?
mhm,
And when it's, I think when he says like React, it's like see if the market is doing what you thought it would do when it gets your level, for example, right?
yep,
And then react based on that, right? Not only do you want to have your thesis or your mental model, you want to confirm that what you wanted to see is what's happening. That's
yeah,
the react part. But that's after you already have the alpha, right? Just because something's alpha doesn't mean it works every time, right?
yeah, of course.
So it's like you still need to like be paying attention unless you're running a purely systematic uh, trading strategy, right? But
Mm.
that's not what we're talking about.
Well, then I would say, would you find that the best strategies would be ones where you can see it react, can see what you want to happen, while also allowing you to have a good entry?
Um, so you're asking how can you react based on the market instead of a good entry?
Correct.
Um, because that's what your margin of error is for, right?
Mhm.
You're okay accepting this amount of loss.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I guess you're trading you are trading higher profits for lower drawdown, which is uh which is typically a better thing because then you could just use leverage, right?
Yeah.
That's why Sharpe ratio takes into account standard deviation of volatility of the portfolio's profit.
Yeah. What do you think of the
Because uh, uh, minimizing drawdowns is way better than maximizing profit. Way better.
because that's also that then that's also another rule of, what you what you shouldn't be doing. It's always avoiding moments when you're uh, kind of doubling back onto the point we were making about it's more important to worry about things that you shouldn't be doing than necessarily should be doing. Like, they're your key things, they're your key rules. It should kind of, or like,
Yeah,
apply necessarily to your drawdown.
exactly.
Hmm.
Most people don't ever think about what they can lose when they enter a trade. They only think about what they
What they
can
can,
make,
yeah,
and they're willing to just accept the stop loss where the stop loss should be, wherever it may be, right? Where it's like you should start off by looking places with low that wouldn't be risky to trade in.
mm, the low likelihood of necessarily your stop basically playing out, like situations in that case, if that makes sense.
I just heard you say your stock situation. I think you
Stop
may have cut out
loss.
there.
Yeah, stop
Oh,
loss
stop
situation.
loss.
Yeah, because I'm kind of
Yeah.
thinking like you know how people they check the likelihood of their trade working out. Well, I'm just brainstorming now. What about checking the likelihood of your stop loss being hit? You know how people have, you know, their win ratios, um, but necessarily back testing situations of, maybe this is a useless concept and my brain's just overthinking it, but the likelihood of, then you're looking to place this trade, well, what's the likelihood of the stop being hit than so much of the whole trade playing out? Which
I mean, real,
necessarily,
yeah. I mean, that's yeah. All that kind of stuff is analyzed very highly. Like you have insanely sophisticated back testing programs that will tell you everything like that. That specific thing is usually done through Monte Carlo simulations. They'll
mhm.
run like thousands and thousands and thousands of simulations and see how many times X point stop loss would get hit versus Y point stop loss, right?
Yeah.
And then that is typically used to optimize like algorithmic and systematic trading strategies,
Ah.
right? But that kind of stuff isn't suited for human. Those aren't like very like human digestible
Yeah, I get what you're
idea. That's
saying.
like not how we think, right? We like
Yeah.
to see um like the reason why people like market structure, like trading like order bluffs and market structures, because it just seems to make sense, right? It's just like you have shape, right? You have gap in the shape, and we are good at, putting the round peg in the round hole, right? So it kind of feels good to trade that versus,
Mm,
or in like intuitive, right? Versus something like, okay, it looks like the average daily range on ES has been increased this week by 5%. So I'm gonna make all my stops 1 point lower or higher. Just like that's never gonna get you anywhere,
yeah, I get you.
right?
Yeah.
It takes a very very specific kind of person to trade like that. I
Yeah.
do know some people who trade like that, but it takes a lot to get there. I would say like a lot of discipline.
And a bit more, would you say that it's a bit more like algorithmic use?
What you described.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be purely for like optimizing a systematic trading system, which some people do trade. Um, I mean, I guess it depends what your uh your definition of it is, but
Yeah.
there are people who trade systems that are like constantly evolving, uh, using statistics, and that's what I mean by systematic. Like from my point, I'm talking about the people who trade like that but do it manually, right? That
Yeah.
are incorporating like using the average daily range into how far their stop should be, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. A bit more unnecessary for the wider range of traders.
Right. There's for the average person, there's way more important things to work on.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really just optimization.
Mm. All right, we got two more questions. You're not gonna like this one, I don't reckon. Have you changed your trading style uh, now that Trump is the president compared to Biden? For example, tariffs, Trump wanting to make peace, Russia and Ukraine, because these can bring volatility to the market.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't holding anything overnight.
In those moments, you're never holding anything overnight.
I mean, not anything, not ES, not any like equity futures. Like I'm not holding any ES or any Q contracts overnight in this environment. No.
Gotcha.
Crypto, I mean, I have some like long-term crypto positions, but those are really good entries, so
Yeah. So it's a bit more of a different.
not really worried about those. Yeah.
Yeah. So more of just like short-term
But yeah,
trade wise.
yeah, Trump has made he's wrecked a lot of people. I tell you, it's been you know I've lost a lot of money this year. Just like he'll just like come up on some interview at like 10 a.m. and like Trump interviews with news agencies and shit and reporters aren't on the economic calendar. So he would be talking to someone, I would know about it, and before you know it, ESNQ is dropping 50, 100, 150 points in like 30 seconds. And it's like, maybe maybe people should put Trump interviews on economic calendar.
That's an
It's
interesting
it
one,
was it
yeah.
was ridiculous. So it was just for a while there, it was like every day was some shit like that. It was really annoying.
Where he would just say something stupid and instantly,
Yeah, just say some random fucking shit in the market would go up or down 100 points.
yeah. All right, we've got a last question here. What pieces of information do you feel are key before you start the trading day? Let's say if you're trading NQ or ES, what are you looking for?
Before
Yeah.
the session starts,
Yep.
I basically just like look. I look at what the overnight session did. That's pretty important in terms of daily bias. There's a lot of stats out there in case anyone wants to go look them up. Uh, in regards to next session price action following based on the overnight and pre-market session price action. A good site for that's Edgeful. I think they have a free trial and the subscription's like pretty cheap. That's pretty good. Um, just like marking out your daily levels and like any major like order blocks or fair value gaps, and that's pretty much it. I do some other stuff for crypto, but for ESNQ, that's it. I when the actual session starts, I am looking at flows, which is how I make most of my trades during the actual session, right? I like wait for those levels I look for in pre-market, but then I'm actually making my decision based on what those flows are doing at the time when they get there. Um, I can't say exactly what I don't want to say exactly what I use. But if you can figure out where the money is moving, you typically can sometimes you'll get lucky and see it's like the money flow isn't really following the price action. And those are where those really juicy contrarian trades I was talking about earlier come from, right? Because um, you're going to be earlier than everyone. If that's something you notice first.
And you find Edgeful to be worth it?
Yeah. I mean, I bought the free trial. I mean, I didn't buy. I got the free trial, and then I looked at what they had, and I basically just keep all that in the back of my mind. I think I just like ripped all of the current stats they had for 2024 when I looked for it, and I just like have that on my computer. I haven't really seen any updated, but typically the intuition has held over in terms of like next session price action based on where price is at certain times.
Perfect. I've got one more question for you, and then we'll wrap things up.
Yeah.
Um, as you know, in the current markets level of information out there for someone to learn trading, maybe beginner or advanced, kind of information that's just so much out there. Who or what is something you would recommend for someone starting out to properly go and learn to get them started and put them on the right track to avoid all the bullshit out there?
Um, It for ES or NQ?
I was talking more
I mean for
strategies.
crypto or equities.
That is true. They are different. You know, I'd say start with equities. Start with equities.
Um, honestly, like people are they're gonna roll their eyes, but um like any that uh S SMT or like ICT stuff is is pretty solid.
Yeah, a lot of people shit on that. A lot of people shit on that. So you're actually sitting here and vetting for ICT.
Yeah, yeah.
But you would
You know,
say,
people have their opinions on his personality, but like
yeah,
um you had to be lying to yourself uh if you were gonna say it that some of those techniques don't work, right?
hmm
Like of course they work, right?
yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah,
And whether or not he's the one who invented them, you know, once again, I don't really care. You know, he's the one who made that content. So
yeah, exactly around it. But would you say ICT strategies in crypto work?
yeah, yeah,
And would you say,
they work everywhere. They work with everything.
well, what would you notice the difference is between, you know, equities versus crypto?
Um, when they move, how much they move, um, the moves required to like be profitable. They're completely different.
Yeah, especially with crypto's
You
fees.
basically um you can't really wait, I guess you can, but it's hard to run taker day trading strategies in crypto. Like obviously if you're buying a crypto for its performance over the next few months, like your the fees you're paying on a taker order doesn't matter. But day trading, you're gonna be hard pressed to
Yeah.
make a consistent profit, especially if you're not good at knowing when not to trade, because then you're just going to get stuck entering in a range that never gets far enough for you to have like a profit worth taking based on the fees.
Yeah, especially with
So
those
stick
fees.
with maker orders if you're day trading crypto, and you'll see the magic start rolling in, or the money start rolling in.
Yeah, you can't even order in crypto. Marketing ordering in crypto is a suicide wish. It's just like,
Yeah.
cool, sick.
Give me an idea. The fees for like opening a Bitcoin long on Hyperliquid or Binance, like there's a bit difference, but both of them are they're basically 100 times uh the the same notional value opened open on like ES or NQ.
hmm
So you can get the same notional exposure for 100x less fees in ES and Q. And it's also moves way more. Like I know when someone opens up the two charts, like, oh no, ES and NQ doesn't have as much volatility as Bitcoin. Well, you forgot how much leverage there is on those contracts. So,
Yeah,
and since the fees are so are like flat fees, they're not percentage based like crypto. It's I've made way more money trading equity futures in crypto at this point.
really? I thought you were more of a
Oh,
crypto
easily,
guy.
dude. Nah, not even. It's not even close, dude.
Because I do know like a couple big crypto moves that you've had, surely, just, you know,
Yeah,
over
well,
time with
that's
exposure.
nothing compared to ES or NQ.
So at the current situation that you're in, what do you reckon that is just more profitable? Oh, of course, you're just going to say NQ, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
NQ.
do you think that how do I put this? Um, like as a beginner starting off, should they be trading crypto or should they be trading equities?
It's hard to say, really. Um, it kind of just depends what kind of trader they are, right?
Yeah.
If you are good at setting a plan, which I mean you should be doing for all trading, or let's just say if setting a plan seems more enjoyable to you, crypto. If you want to be like more proactive, um, ES and NQ,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
because there's more. So like every session in ES and NQ is like a it's like a new story, right? And that story develops over the entire session every trading day. That doesn't happen in crypto.
Yeah.
Crypto, it could stay at the same place for weeks. We've seen it stay in the same place for months. Sometimes, yeah, there's not trades for weeks.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
in ES and NQ, like sure, you have your untradeable days, right? But they're few and far between, from my experience.
Mm.
And there's a lot more information you can use to gain an edge in equity futures than there is in crypto. I'm not saying that there is more edge available in ES and NQ, but um for a retail trader, um it's going to be easier for you to find a successful strategy, in my opinion. There's a lot of way more toxic flow in crypto, right?
Yeah. There
So
is.
it's like your trading strategy could be fine, it just doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot to stop that kind of stuff in TradFi,
Mm.
unless Trump's speaking. That's
um,
that's the TradFi toxic flow is like really
it's not
the
whales. It's
flow
Trump.
of shit coming out of Trump's mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone's got anytime he's opening his mouth, something's gonna happen. Um, where can people find you? Some people are asking for your Twitter. Is that something you want to give out, or because I know you like to prefer
I
to
mean,
stay
yeah.
low key.
Like my Twitter Seattle socialite. I don't really post a lot. Maybe if I get a bunch of followers, I may start posting some shit like daily trade stuff. But I mainly just lurk.
And that was Seattle at Seattle.
Um, Seattle socialite. Yeah.
Seattle socialite. There you
I'm actually second. I'm actually second guessing myself. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh no. Okay. My name is Seattle socialite, but my Twitter handle is chasing_yields.
Chasing
So
underscore
chasing
yields.
yields underscore, yeah.
Do you trade oil? Someone asked if you traded oil.
Nah.
No.
No, I can't trade commodities to save my life, man.
Yeah, really.
I've seen the worst horror stories, man. It kind of just like does nothing until it does something, and then you're blown the fuck out if you're not on the right side.
Yeah,
And
I get you.
another reason why I don't like trading commodities is you have to be commodity traders are like an entire different fucking beast. Like I know guys who are they're using satellite imagery to look at oil rigs in the Arabic Gulf and using time lapses of that photographic imagery to tell how deep the boats in the water are, thus telling you if how much oil is on the tankers, right? And then they use that to trade oil, bro. It's like they're in its entire different beast.
Yeah, it's a different
Those guys
game.
are cracked. You have to be on top of so much global news in addition to that.
Yeah. It's fucking 8 p.m. and I have someone jackhammering in the apartment above me. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm actually gonna kill myself. Wow. How polite. 8 p.m. Alright, that was pretty much the end of it there. But I'm gonna kind of do a few little clickbaity things right now just to try and catch people's attention. If I say anything too kind of, you don't have to reply to any of these. These are just me trying to basically clip farm. Um, so I'm just trying to ask questions which I think, and chat can ask questions. What do you think that would perform well on social media? You know, short attention kind of grabbings. Um, like for instance, um, what's the most amount of money that you made in a single day?
You're asking me that?
You don't have to answer it, no. But like, I'm just trying to like clickbaity kind of things.
Um, uh, well, I guess if we're prorating the hype airdrop, then hype.
The hype
Like
airdrop.
obviously my hype airdrop didn't go to $1 million in a day, but it ended up being worth that much. So if prorating, I would say hype. Um, other than that, probably some I've had a bunch of days on equity futures making multiple six figs in a day.
Just from futures.
Yeah.
Multiple six figures a day on futures. God damn. And the hype airdrop. I knew. I mean, it was actually just you and Sandal at the end of the day when
That
you
let me be clear, that's like an insanely good day.
yeah.
Usually a typical day is like um 3, 4, 5 grand.
On a usual day, you do about
Then
three.
I'll usually have a day with like every week with like 10 or 15, and then every once in a while we'll get those six figures days
Yeah, yeah,
where it's
yeah.
just like I don't know who said this. Was it Druckenmiller or some shit? It's like when you know you're right, you just have to be a fucking pig, dude. You just gotta like max fucking size, dude.
When you're just
And
so
you'll know.
like a triple A kind of trade is those kind of days. That's what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying.
And it's just like bouncing away after filling your entry like so fast, and you just slam on the extra contracts. Yeah.
Oh god, after those days, just how do you like? What's it like after those days? You know, what's that feeling?
At this point, it feels great. You know, I usually like brag a little bit, but honestly, it doesn't really change what I do that day.
Yeah, it's just kind of just one of those days where you can go to bed thinking, "Fuck yeah."
It's like, damn, that was fucking sick, dude. Yeah.
um,
Maybe take my girl out or something.
yeah,
Other
no,
than that, yeah.
just a cheeky one. Do you have a do you? Oh, I don't think you actually. You actually, Marin, you're actually going to be confused by his answer to this, but because I know the answer to it. Do you have a drug of choice pre-market to get you hyped up?
Uh, coffee. But well, not okay. So I've started not drinking coffee until I've been up for like 45 minutes, but that's just like, that's just something I'm trying out. That's not like I'm not like prescribing that to anyone.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
coffee.
Do you do anything else like just throughout your day or anything like that?
Creatine,
Creatine.
a lot of creatine. Um, uh, I have like a nootropic stack, that's just like a bunch of shit in just one pill that I take every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take a lot of creatine.
Nicotine?
Uh, you know, we may smoke a little weed every now and then,
Yeah.
but no, not really.
Yeah, because that was always the interesting one with me. Because like I always knew you, so everyone would always be like, "Oh, the potheads. They're just like low lives. They just don't want to do anything with their lives and stuff like that." And I'm always got you in the back of my head, and I'm just like, "Oh, that fucking outlier, man." Just like, what do you have in America? Those pens?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the Benjamin.
the good old pens. I was,
Just too convenient, man.
but I always remember because everyone's always like, I'm like, yeah, those guys are losers, and then I'm like, unless you're brat.
I mean, smoking weed all day and like, especially if you have nothing going for you, like, yeah, that's dumb. But like, if you're successful, why can't you smoke a little bit of weed, you know?
Yeah, oh, bro, yeah. I've always just been that outlier. I'm just like,
Especially when you work for
"Mm,
yourself, it's like someone who works for themselves is also more likely to be able to do something in moderation, right?
yeah,
So
definitely.
I smoke weed, but I don't smoke a lot of
Yeah. Nah, more normally, I don't know, I'll catch it once a week and you'll be like, you and someone else will be just hitting it, and I'll be just like, the life. Bro's living the life, man. You need like some boathouse to live on and just trade like that. Whoa, actually, just living the life. Chat, I need good questions. Marin, hit me with like a better question. You know, like viral kind of questions that are gonna like trigger people a little bit. Does he take Alpha GPC? Heard it's a good replacement for Adderall.
Alpha GPC.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I don't really know what that is. It may be like the stack I take, but I'm not sure. I'll have to go look at that stuff later
Yeah.
and give you an answer.
What else is a
Yeah,
banger
looking it
one?
up. Maybe. Yeah, I'll go. I'll give him an answer later. I'll have to go check. I my girl does all that research. She's like a Peter, so I just take what she tells me to take.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Because I'm a naturopath myself. Um, I like to just stay as natural as possible. I do need to find a good natural source for my nicotine pouches. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what's in my velos, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Those don't seem safe to me.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm at that point now where I'm just like, I don't think these are going to be something that I can continue on for years on end and be like, yeah, this is my stimulant. I'd have to find a more of a natural. A lot of boys are on the gum. A lot of boys are on pout patches and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I want like a strong but natural hit myself.
Try like a really high dose of creatine,
Are you fucking with me right
like
now?
15
Really?
grams,
Normal serving, yeah. They're like, yeah, get 5 grams a day. But you really go for the creatine, 15 grams a
10 to
day.
15. Yeah,
Wow, I would not have suspected that because that's also great for working out.
yeah, yeah. It has multiple.
How many hours a day do you trade?
Um, I'm trying to reduce it, to be honest, but it just depends. Um, I want to say I usually trade. Well, I'm in Seattle, so the market opens at 6:30 a.m. here. So I'm usually trading from like sometimes I wake up at 5:30, sometimes 6. So from like 5:30 to 5:30 to 1 usually.
Okay, 5.5 hours
1
a
is
day.
when
Yeah,
the NY session closes here. So what is that? 7 hours?
5.5. No? Oh, wait, no. Fuck yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah. Oh, so you're an early nighter. You go to bed early, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm usually in bed by like 10 or 11.
Okay, yeah, not bad. Yeah, that's a good stable kind of
I'm
zone.
almost never up. Like, yeah, I'm like usually asleep by 11:30 or so.
Yeah, no, that's a good zone, I would have to say. Does he disagree with any of the ICT concepts, or which one is his most favorite slash used?
Order blocks, those are my favorite. As far as if I disagree with anything, I mean, he says a lot of kooky fucking shit, to be honest. So it's like, you mean like trading related? I don't really know. You have to be specific.
He did say concept wise. So
Oh, concept? I can't think of anything. If he has like something specific in mind, uh, maybe. Does he?
I wish we didn't have a delay. I think there's like a 5 second delay. Marin, type quick.
I like order blocks, inversion FEGs, and propulsion blocks. But not. I said ICT works in crypto. Not all those. Not all the ones I just listed were crypto, but they work in equities, and that's mainly because some two one of the well, one of those strategies you probably want to market in, right? Can't do that in crypto.
Yeah. The algo argument is probably the most controversial one, which is of course false, but what's your opinion?
Oh, okay. By algo, I don't think he really means it's like one entity like controlling all of the market. The algo is more like um the result of multiple systematic trading systems interacting over different time scales. And I would say like the ICT trading concepts focuses on areas where though all of those actors kind of like meet or clash, right? And that's where you want to be taking trades when there's consensus among not among like traders, but you know like time. It's kind of explained like time frame consensus, in a way because the market is an emergent property of all these different actors, right? So that's what he means by the algorithm,
Yeah.
I think.
Now with
So whether or not like that's actually what's happening, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. It's the concept itself is useful, right?
yeah.
And I think is also useful for psychological reasons, right? Especially since he focuses on like liquidity generation, right? So he's taking trades where people he's looking at areas where people were forced into or out of positions, right? And when you have people forced out of positions, it creates inefficiencies, which you can then take advantage of.
Yeah, that's also a good spot. It's
Yeah,
always a good spot.
basically I'm saying the algorithm concept is good because it takes yourself out of the picture.
Hmm. It's just a marketing gimmick at the end of the day. He's gambling prop firm accounts, taking it conventional slow way. ICT made most of his money though from the actual core sales, but his concepts at the end of the day are still very like valid specific ones valid, It's just that he himself isn't a good trader, probably simply based off the parts where he just doesn't like. There's a lot of people who do the ICT methods and they're successful traders, and yet ICT himself hasn't proven himself to be a good trader necessarily.
I mean, that may, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
That may or may not be true. And honestly, I don't even care whether or not it's true.
Of course.
In terms of, I think it is a good enough model for price action that combined with other edges, um, is enough to make a lot of money. Like I said, I mark out those major like order blocks and shit in my my prep phase of the day. But then when it gets to those levels, in order to not make the same mistakes people who just copy ICT do, I'm looking at the other thing I said I was looking at, and that's order flows, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm seeing what I want to see when it does get to those price action setups, right? So then I can already filter a pretty good setup into an amazing one.
Yep. I have a question for you now, Brat. Do you want to? Well, I mean, we've been live now for 1 hour and 40 minutes. If you want to head out, that's perfectly fine. But do you want to hop into a call with some of the viewers right now who are in this channel already and have a chat directly with them, and they can kind of shoot you some questions?
Sure, yeah, I can do that for a little bit. Like
Right
10 or
in.
15.
Samantha, jump into the voice channel, general area. Let me just jump on here so I can read some messages real quick. What do we got here? Wake up. Don't shit. Jump into the general area in the Discord. Kind of tick rate is he using in terms of watching? Ask it in the, or jump in the call and then ask him directly. I'll drag you up.
Oh,
Yo.
shit. Oh my god, why are you so loud?
I am?
Me?
Nah. Lemo. Hi,
Oh.
Cal.
Hey,
Hello.
Brett, this is Marin, who's in the chat, and this is Samantha. I think Samantha is the one I told you about, with the one with the payouts.
We've been in the call.
yeah.
Been in the call a long time ago.
I think I do remember that, but yeah. Nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, same. Wait, Cal, I wanted to ask you, do you like use order flow for futures? Like in terms of like tick charts?
Equity futures?
Yeah.
I
mean, like, I'm
do.
curious.
Yeah. I do look at like CVDs and like some imbalance kind of stuff, but when I'm talking about order flow, that's not exactly what I'm talking about. It's more like, okay, it's more you gotta go like first order thinking. Futures are second order, right? Like
Yeah.
what are equity futures?
Wait, you're
Like
asking
what?
me?
Yeah. No, it's like I'm asking. Yeah, it's not a hypothetical. What is an equity future?
I mean, you got me on
It
the
may
spot
sound
right here.
just. It's the obvious answer is
Like
the answer.
like an underlying asset.
Right.
Stocks?
What's the
Okay.
underlying asset?
So like of S&P and fucking NQ?
Yeah.
Like Apple stock?
Well, no, what is the underlying for the equity future contract?
I'm not sure.
What's the spot? Well, it's SPY, right?
Okay. Oh yeah, SPY. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, what is SPY?
Top 500.
So I guess we were third or equity futures are third order. SPY second order. What's first order?
It's a good question.
What is SPY? Remember, we're starting at the end and we're working
SMP,
back. This is what
like,
I was talking about earlier. This is how you discover alpha.
well, isn't it like the S&P like 500 and all that?
Yeah. What is
Like,
the
where
S&P
all the
500?
where all the like big like companies they trade under like one asset kind of type of thing. I don't
Yeah.
trade like SPY, so I'm not too like knowledgeable on it. I'll be honest.
So it's an ETF of stocks, right? So when I talk about order flow, since the price of stocks in the S&P that comprises SPY affect the SPY, which then affects equity future contract price. A way you can kind of uncover some alpha is by discovering discrepancies in order flow between the underlying and the equity future. I can't really say much more than that without giving up too much information, but there are some sessions where the order flow for one is going one way and the order flow for the other is going the complete opposite direction, which usually makes for some good entries.
You're not gonna lie, my fundamental knowledge on like futures is limited. I'm more of a technical based trader.
Yeah.
I think I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So I think if you start incorporating some of those things, you because technicals are emergent once again, right? The alpha already it already happened once you see it, once you
Yeah, it's
look at
delayed data
technical factors.
basically. Yeah.
Right.
Delayed data. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So using order flow and other information like that, you can figure out if those technical conditions are one that are truly, for example, going to produce a reversal.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, by the way, the one thing I asked on the stream was about Edgeful because I'm actually thinking of buying it. Like you said, you just used it in the like free trial window.
Yeah, I use their free trial, and then I had ChatGPT write me like a Python script that just scraped all their info.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
And I've just been using those old stats. They've been working pretty well for me.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking of buying it to try to get some statistics. Because then
Yeah, it's
I know
definitely worth
about
it.
yeah, because I was thinking about I was looking into like RTH breaks and I don't know 1 hour continuations. You know about the initial balance breaks, stuff like that,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I use all
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, but fuck, no.
There was a famous paper came out in the last few months about the ORB breakout strategy, the opening
Okay.
range breakout.
Yeah, opening range breakout, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically it, the initial balance breaks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those
So
are.
when I also was talking about becoming a time-based trader, that is kind of the stuff I'm alluding to, right? Like,
Mm.
since the market is very routine, right? Every day things it's like a story. Things unfold um every day in like a new way, right? So you have to like read the story for that day, and it sounds like really dumb and not useful, but it will be.
I mean, like talking about ICT concepts and all of that, like it's basically. I mean, I'm not sure if you're familiar. Like he calls it power of three. There's basically like 3 phases. So I mean, I like to follow that kind of approach. Like when looking at like the daily candle, how it's gonna expand. Like there's gonna be that like one accumulation stage, and then like quote unquote a manipulation move, and then basically the real move that's probably gonna like distribute till the end of the day, I guess. So
Exactly. That combined with looking at for that at certain parts of the day
mm,
is is where you're gonna find some success.
yeah, I mean like sessions eliminate so much of that like noise. If you trade only one session, you can actually see like so often, like even on NQ, my model on NQ is basically like to see that quote unquote manipulation at market open, taking out some kind of liquidity in the opposing direction, and then targeting some accumulation phase that like happened, I don't know, in Asia or in London. That's basically
Yeah.
all my fucking model is, like spotting that, like order block getting invalidated. That's basically my entry model. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it, like the breaker blocks, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fuck with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's my entry model. I love that using that. That's why I asked you. Like, you don't trade oil. I trade oil futures, and it's basically the most profitable thing for me.
Um, for like ICT style trading.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say like trade whatever works for you. Like for me personally, like maybe I could trade oil, but it's a combination of I'm more comfortable I'm more comfortable with my like microstructure, my mental
Yeah.
model of the flows affecting ES and NQ than I am something like oil,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's hard for me to take those like ICT concepts, right? And then filter them out to become even more successful since I don't have that knowledge like I do with equity futures.
Mm. So I actually didn't know that, but you're kind of trading mostly ICT concepts.
Well, so there's time, place, and then there's like order flow, right?
Mm.
The
Yeah.
ICT time and place kind of information kind of style of thinking is a great framework, yeah, I'd say.
Mm.
Because you're at least, if anything, you get good entries with those techniques, right? Which if you were a computer wouldn't necessarily only that matters if your computer's like the profit, right? But with the human, the ICT is very easy to trade from a psychological standpoint, which is most people's problem, or why most people aren't successful in trading is the psychology, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
trading strategies that make that easier, I like better.
Yeah, more like mechanical approaches that you can't fuck up, that you can't second guess, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fuck. I had Flemo. You got me on the spot, bro. I don't have many questions for Cal right now.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
shut
gonna
them
lie.
all off.
It was just like, okay, like what's gonna perform well on TikTok now, or what's gonna
Yeah, I
like
mean,
perform
we need to
well on
fucking rage bait.
Reels, or yeah.
We need to shit on ICT.
Have you got like? I think a lot of people want to know this because I feel like this is just like a general query, but it's I think a lot of things that like I think the retail trader would want to know. So it's like, do you trade like a maximum amount? Do you take like a maximum amount of trades per day, or do you stop? So say you reach I don't know 5K profit and that's it, you're done for the day, or you just like take it as it comes and you just trade. If you make a profit in your first trade, do you then stop, or do you then carry on and try and push your like limits further, or that's it, you've made profit and you're happy with that?
Um, I know a lot of people who do that successfully as a way to control like risk or like over trading. I don't usually use like profit targets, or I don't like have any I don't really have a set rule where if I lose this many trades I stop trading. It's more I just make a decision about whether or not it's like a tradable session. Like how so you know those sessions where it's basically just like up or down only and there's like no retests, or and if you
Yeah.
like weren't up at like 5:30 for the entry, there's just non-entry. Things like
Yeah.
that. I don't trade. If anything, I'll put like an alert somewhere, which would be a good entry, and I'll just check the chart if it gets there. But yeah, I don't at this point. I don't really have any like concrete rules based around that. Mostly because I don't trade with a prop firm, right? I don't have to abide by some of those.
I actually thought
Those
you
limits.
bought some like futures accounts. I was like certain you will be like on Apex. You know about Apex?
Yeah. I mean, I've done some of that stuff just for fun, like running up an account. But I'm using my own money on interactive brokers.
Do you think it's easier to trade personal capital than prop firms?
No, it's harder.
Okay, because like there are set rules. Like on I don't know on fucking Apex, if you want to use an
I
account.
guess it depends what you mean by that, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, in the sense that um, due to the prop firm rules, it's harder for some strategies to be profitable, or I mean to be profitable and still not break the rules. And but the other side of the coin is that it's not your money, so there's less
yeah, psychological.
stress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was that's what I was like thinking about, because like you have that account, like you have so much leverage. You buy an account for fucking I don't know $100. You have probably like 50K, 25K. You just don't care about losing 100 versus like losing actual 25K. It's fucking I don't know
hmm
suicide.
It's yeah. It's I don't know how they make money. I guess it shows you just how unprofitable
Yeah, exactly.
most traders have to be, or else prop firms wouldn't exist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean I'm not sure what the statistic is, but just the concept of preference existing and thriving in such fashion is just
Mhm.
the like pure like example of how unprofitable people actually are. It's kind of
Being
crazy.
able to put on 100K or 50K notional for $100 is like
Yeah,
insane.
insane. I mean, people now it's probably the easiest fucking time to make money in trading. Like, like back in the day, nobody had like prop firms. It was like,
Yeah. And if you did, it was like impossible to know which ones wouldn't scam you.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember when I first came like into trading, I remember the rules. Like, you know about FTMO?
Yeah. Yeah.
FTMO is like the biggest CFD firm basically. So I remember them having like a 30-day rule. If you didn't meet your profit target in 30 days, they would completely reset all of your profits. It was like so fucking hard to pass a funded, and then when the industry standard became much easier, they needed to adapt, and now it's just unlimited time to pass it. So yeah, they're fucking uh, they're adapting, but still, even though I know so many firms that have easier, quote unquote easier, like rules, and they still are profitable and still are making money. That's just the fucking uh that just shows you people are just fucking gambling accounts, and I don't know, just YOLOing it, I guess.
I did a Instagram story yesterday, Brett, and asked people if they also wanted to give me some questions. They're pretty shit, but and very basic, but I'll give you them. Um, People want to know what should they invest in right now. Someone who knows nothing.
I'm not gonna answer that question. Come on.
Okay, long term over 4 or 5 years, more to speak. Like, let's just say some guy has some money, you know. I was expecting you to basically just say AI, to be fair.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not like a long term
Yeah.
kind of guy. Like, I would say invest in what you know best. I
I
have a
think it's
buddy
more
who's
like
like a total like normie, like a total like Wall Street bets tier kind of investor, but
Oh no.
his can like he the stuff he buys are stuff like he knows about. Like he's like a huge pothead, so he's been following like cannabis legalization like policy in America. And so he's been just like DCAing into MSauce, which is this like cannabis ETF. Um, and we were all me and all his buddies who like actually trade for a living were telling him like it's fucking retarded, dude. But he like kept up on it, and he knew that Trump had advisors who were like friends of the cannabis industry, and what do you know? Why he opens up the IMSOS chart, um, he was right. So
Yeah.
you don't have to be a good trader to make a lot of money, especially if you're only doing conviction plays.
Yeah.
And that's not the first play he's had like that. He's had a few like that.
I was just
So
gonna
stick to what
say,
you know.
I think if you like, to add on to what you were saying, I think if you look into like invest in something long term, it's got to be like something that you believe in. It's not gonna be like a case of, oh, what's gonna make me the most amount of money. It's more like something that you can see like having an impact on the future, something that you genuinely believe in, like just a project you find interesting. Like your friend, he finds an interest in cannabis, so he invested something to do with cannabis. I think if you're looking to like invest like long term, you've got to do something that you actually believe in and find an interest in.
Exactly. It's gonna make it a lot easier to hold as well when you're in drawdown.
Exactly, yeah. If you're seeing losses and you think, oh, in long term, I know this project's going to work out, then it's more like easier to stay positive in those situations.
Exactly.
Believe in GME.
Yeah, I get what you're
Stocks.
saying.
Jimmy?
Nah, GME.
Oh,
GameStop.
we said Jimmy because that's my dog's
Nah.
name.
No. Not GME. I know a friend that is deep into GME because of that guy. What's his name? Roaring Kitty? Is it?
Yeah.
Is
yeah.
it that the one that had the documentary about him?
Potentially. I'm not sure though. Oh,
But
yeah,
see, like
Flame.
I kind of don't see the whole GME thing as what I'm talking about. That's more of like hype driven
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
where it's this. What I'm talking about is very individual to your own knowledge. Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of schizo investing, I guess.
I just looked. He does have a documentary about him. I actually watched it. I remember it.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. I mean, yeah,
Does he still
Flemo.
invest?
Potentially, probably.
I feel
The
like he
Roaring Kitty guy.
disappeared
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I heard he sold his Twitter account, and it's not him posting.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard that as
Good
well.
for him.
Finesse. Samantha, are you British or Irish?
Neither.
Oh, what are you?
I was born in Latvia.
Nah, but like the accent though is throwing me off.
Irish? I said nothing like Irish.
Debatable.
People
Nothing
say it's
Latvian, though.
more like northern, but you probably not really met many like northern people. They say I sound like I'm like from London. Apparently, don't know. Definitely not Irish though. That's the first time I ever heard that because they have very, very like strong accents and like they pronounce things like I don't know how to explain it, but very differently.
It's Cal. I have a question. Like, since you are profitable, like, why don't you even consider pop firms? Like, you could just have them right there standing. It's not that like complicated to use them, and it's additional money for basically
Because
like.
because the rules can be very complicated, and I don't even want to like worry about.
Now you feel like your strat can like breach the rules.
Yeah, I just aren't like even if I wouldn't, I don't even want to have to think about it. Like if I needed the money, then yeah, I would put up with that.
What's like
Yeah.
a good capital you'd say like to start trading your personal with? Don't think anyone's mentioned that.
I mean, you can trade micros. There's like $5,000. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was thinking like 10K, 5K, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, like Flammo put in 10K for the alts.
Demi said
But like honestly, there's like so many good paper trading systems now that you should be doing that before you put any money in an account.
No, of course.
What do you think of Darwin X?
About
You
what?
know Darwin X is that thing like
No.
where you can say they have like a test and say if you pass this test it's like a track record and say if you pass this test, you get a capital given to you, and like people can like invest in you, like, and
Yeah,
then you
that's
just
more.
take a cut off it.
Copy
No,
trading
that's
would be
more.
more it, no?
This is just
That
like
sounds complicated from a logistical, like money, like moving the money to people standpoint.
I mean it's all right. I know about Darwin X. It's just like it's made for you to be able to like build a track record and
Yeah, it's for like investors to like invest
Mm.
in you. It's more like that rather than like a prop firm. It's
yeah, but I mean in the beginning I feel like it's nothing you should be concerned about because it's
Oh, that
kind
sounds
of
cool. I think I get what you mean now.
if you just go on darwinx0.com, like it gives you like a bit more information on there. Like
there's
if you have
a
a
difference
test.
though.
Hmm?
There's a difference
Yep,
though
check it
because
out.
there is Darwin X and then there is Darwin X Zero. I think Darwin X Zero is the one that you put your own money, and Darwin X is just like a subscription based stuff. Like you pay $40 a month, and you just trade, and then based on your performance you get capital allocated. But the cuts are disgusting. You basically had no money. It's basically just for you to be able to build a track record and like attract investors, like seed
Yeah,
capital and stuff like that. It's okay, but I mean, in the beginning,
they have some
like,
way of verifying your trade performance or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like my FX book, like you can fake your results off of that. So a lot of people who want to maybe trade for a hedge fund or get investors, then they choose to kind of take this route because it's a better way of verifying your track record.
It's also like, well, I'm trying to think of like, it all kind of stems from the top of like a hedge fund, and these are kind of like different like branches necessarily from.
Well, this one's kind of cool because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say this one's kind of cool because like you can kind of like build your track record, a verifiable track record as a person. You know,
Yeah,
that's kind of like it's kind of LinkedIn but for trading. It's kind of genius.
yeah,
Yeah, it gives you
there.
like a score, like based on like your drawdown and like profit, etc. And then
Hmm.
gives you like a monthly like percentage of return. And then I guess if people like what they're seeing, then they can like invest in you and stuff like that. It is very like hard. It's more like a long term thing. I think if you want to do something like on the side, but I wouldn't be like relying on that as a way of like making money, like compared to how you would be able to like utilize a prop firm. But Darwin X is more like just kind of track record and proving yourself. So to like kind of do that on the side.
Yeah, could be useful for raising money at some point if you just like like people like you're a coder and people see those GitHub commits. You know.
Yeah,
I think they probably do like algo trading and stuff like that, I would assume, but not really looked into it that much. But I was thinking maybe it's something that you've ever like if you've ever used it or what's like
No,
your opinion on it, but I guess you've not heard of it before, have you?
no. I like the
Oh,
idea though.
yeah,
maybe
that's
it's
more of a
something you
European
could
thing.
do one day.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check it out. If anything, just for like having like a provable track record is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I believe they're like they are fucking approved by the European Financial Institute, like the biggest one. I'm not sure what it's called, but yeah, that helps definitely. But it's a European thing, so I'm not sure if it's available in the US. I mean,
Do you mean the
probably it is.
FCA, Financial Conduct Authority?
Yeah, potentially, yeah,
Mm,
FCA
oh yeah,
probably.
that's on the bottom of their website, Financial Conduct Authority. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so that definitely helps.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because say for example, there's like a dodgy broker who is known for like scamming people or just has a bad reputation. You can then raise a claim with the FCA, and there would be like a warning to say, "Oh, don't use this company," and they would then approach whoever registered that company and ask them like what's going on, ask for like an explanation, and potentially ask them to shut down or give compensation to their customers. It's just basically like a security, like protection for like your money. And banks
No,
in the UK use FCA as well,
no,
so it's a
makes sense.
very important like organization.
Yeah.
No, that's nice.
So
Fleming
you got
got any?
peace of mind that it's like totally legit if you do it correctly,
Yeah.
which is good actually.
Flemo, do you have any other questions from Instagram?
No, they're all dead. I'm not gonna lie. Someone asked about 3 crypto coins that have died off already. People were just fucking around on the questionnaire thing. Someone asked for psychology for new traders, so I just ignored that. What else did we have?
I mean, we talked about it like 10 times.
Someone asked
already.
about HBAR, X Element, XDC, and I was just like, no, not even gonna bother about that. Someone asked about favorite stimulants, already covered that. Someone asked about favorite flavor of Velo, the nicotine pouch. No bothering about that.
CBA.
Would you
It
say
was in a fucking
you
book. How about that?
Oh, shit.
would you say you trade like your personal differently compared to when you was at a hedge fund?
He
Me?
didn't trade at the.
I wasn't a
Firm.
trader at the
Oh,
the
you
dealer
wasn't.
broker. Yep.
Yeah,
No.
no.
That's what got me interested in trading. Is like working with the traders that we had there at the firm.
Mm.
I
That'd
thought
be
it was really cool.
Yeah, cool atmosphere, you know? Like just seeing that, seeing what it used to be like. What year was this, by the way?
2016, 2017,
Yeah.
2018 area. Yeah, like
That's-
2017.
What year did The Wolf of Wall Street come out?
I don't know.
Let me just
Wait,
quickly-
What's like the craziest thing you've seen like in like the branch that just still like sticks with you to this day? Like either the worst or the funniest, just something that when you think of what you used to do in 2016, what kind of like springs to your mind?
Not being a trader, I was kind of insulated from like any like like nothing was my fault, right? Because I didn't. It's not like I was doing anything, but like there'd be like a few days out of the year when there'd be like an exceptionally bad day, and someone on the floor gets like a bit too loud. It's not like how it used to be. Like 20 or like by the time I got there, like there wasn't that much floor trading, right? All those like, and you've seen those old movies, like a bunch of guys like down there at the pit, they're like shouting. That's not how it's like. It's just like a bunch of dudes on iPads making orders, right? But every once in a while, you'll have that. I got to see famous people come in there whenever they were ringing the bell. Other than that, like it wasn't that glorious or magnificent.
Did you not have like Christmas parties or anything? Like those are like a massive thing in the UK, so I don't know like how it really works over there, but like massive companies they'll do like a yearly like Christmas party and everyone just gets like pissed or like on drugs at those parties, and then the next day there'll be like work drama and stuff like that. Did you not have anything like that at all?
Yeah, like my boss had a yacht, so there were some fun times there.
I can imagine.
Anything like you can kind of share? I'm interested.
No, what happens on the boat?
Like
stays on the
like I
boat.
said, like I said earlier, everyone I worked with were they're family men, so it didn't get too crazy. At the end of the day, they're all taking that 3-hour train ride up to Connecticut to be in time to be home for dinner in time with their family. It's yeah, it wasn't that crazy where I was at.
Damn.
What a shame.
Wow.
What a shame.
I was thinking it's gonna be like insane story, but I guess it's just not what is portrayed on the movies or how most
so,
people
like,
imagine it.
Also, I worked for a broker dealer, which like it's very different energy than a hedge fund, right? Like hedge funds were our clients, right? So we would just be executing on behalf of our clients. So the major successes and major losses I did witness many of the effects of that personally. I didn't have to be around like traders who like lost a bunch of money. Like we did have traders, right? But they're just executing orders on behalf of clients, right?
What happens if
It's not like if they lose money, it's their fault, right?
I was gonna say, what happens if someone lost like a lot of money? What happens to that person who was responsible for it?
Well, so our job is our job as a broker dealer is to get our clients the best price possible for that day, right? So we had like hundreds of different algorithms like you could choose to get that best price. You could try to be the volume weighted average price for the day. You could do what's called volume share, which is you're aiming to be a certain percentage of volume for that day. So every for example, for every 1,000 shares bought, you execute 100 shares. So we, based on our clients' needs and how thin the market was, we would have different ways to get the best price for our client, whether it be buying or selling for that day, right? So yes, we had traders and they had like a little bit of discretion. Uh, it's hard for them to make a big fuck up.
Mm. And what about, was there like a specific thing that you used to do? Because everyone always talks about, like, not you personally, obviously, but people always talk about, oh, like hedge funds, like manipulating the price, etc., etc. Is that something that you kind of saw firsthand, or not really?
No, that's legal. None of that stuff.
Because that's
That
what,
stuff
like,
doesn't happen. If it happens, it's not talked about and it's not above board.
I was
You know,
gonna
just
say,
something that was really drilled into my head. Working on Wall Street is that your reputation is more important than making a few extra bucks, because especially on the OTC desk and more of the dealing with more exotic instruments, there are a lot of situations where time is of the essence, and you kind of just have to trust that your counterparty, like, sure, they're making money, but they're not like screwing you over, right? And that does happen, but it's not very often. That it's not as above board as people think it may be.
How important
Your reputation is
was
very important.
reputation? Like, in what essence is it important, if that makes sense?
Okay, well, when you're dealing with OTC and so the broker dealer I worked at dealt with a lot of like OTC, right? So these are like very, very complex instruments with very, very exotic payoff curves and schedules, and very, very little liquidity, right? So when there's like no liquidity, it's hard to get out of something if your counterparty screwed you over or lied to you, right? So reputation is important so you can make deals fast, right? Make trades fast.
I was gonna say, like, did you like not encounter any like insider trading, or not
Nope,
really?
no.
No. Would have been interesting if you did. I would have like kind of to know how it kind of started and ended, but because I know there's like
I mean, I could tell you
documentaries about it.
theoretically how it would have worked.
Go on.
We know that a client wants to buy, you know, $50 million in shares of something. I just the fucking wake up and buy calls on it that day, right? I mean, you have a bunch of people who are in area who are in positions of having knowledge, right? But the reason why it's hard to get away with, especially if you work on Wall Street, is that you're all registered. Like everything you do on a broker, they have your name and every trade's registered. It's not like I can go buy some information that the stock's gonna go up due to my position executing a large client's order. that's all. Like my broker is gonna have that information available, and they're gonna know when I knew the information and when I bought those calls. I'd be stupid if I thought I could get away with that. It's just not worth it.
What if you were to say, like, you told a friend of a friend to go and do it? Would they still be able to track that down?
So if it does happen, I am more inclined to believe that's what's happening, right? That would be way easier to get away with.
Do you think it still happens to this day, or like?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course it happens, but none of it was above board, and I was just a fucking kid when I worked there. It's not like I wasn't really, and I wasn't even like a trader, right? So I wasn't. If there was anything going on, I don't know if I would have been privy to it.
And they'd most likely get caught at the end of it as well, wouldn't they?
I'd hope so. Yeah.
Like, what do you think are like the chances of them getting caught, like on a percentage, like
I
99
couldn't
or
even tell you.
no?
I have
Oh,
no idea. I never saw it, so
oh, never mind then.
Because that's what the shows are all about at the end of the day. I mean, Brett, we was telling you about Billions, and you said you've seen that and how they kind of play the game. That's all kind of traced, and it's all about them trying to cover their ass for when they're placing their trades.
yeah, that show's cool. I like that show. Once again, like I never worked for a hedge fund, so I don't know if the show's accurate to how would be a hedge fund environment is, but it's fun show.
Did anyone like ever like say so you helped someone kind of like make a lot of money? Did anyone ever like give like a tip or anything? Like, say you help someone get a good deal and you help someone make a lot of money. Did anyone ever give you a tip for doing that or not? No.
Like a stock tip.
No, not like a money tip or like a gift or something like that.
Oh, not me personally, but my boss, yeah.
Oh, really? What did he get?
A watch, like a Rolex.
Oh, that's nice.
Really on my wrist.
Yeah, rolling on my wrist. Yeah, rolling on my wrist.
But I'm gonna have to get out of here and feed my cats, make myself some lunch. Enjoyed the
Perfect,
talk.
G. Appreciate you coming in. Very, very grateful for coming in.
Yeah, no problem. Had a good time. Good questions.
I think next time we should do a live trading session with you. I think that would be awesome.
Sure, that could be fun.
Do you versus Flemo?
Oh,
So like
hell
a
no.
trade off. See who generates the most amount of profit for the day.
No, but
Yeah.
So you have like
try
a
to
retail
run up some
trader.
paper accounts or something.
I got to
But
like
Cal,
10
have
viewers, today. So which was the most I've ever had at one time, and it probably averaged around 7 viewers the entire time. So I was like, oh, sick.
but Cal, have you shorted NQ today?
Oh yeah, bunch.
Yeah, bro. Me too. Yeah,
I've just been trading
wide
this
open.
range.
Yeah, I mean, wait.
Yeah, I got my first entry was like 2450 ish. I had that little retest after like we opened, we had that pump, came down, and we had that little retest.
Wait,
It's like
short that
almost at
breakdown.
the top, 2450.
But
to the group.
I took profit at the overnight low.
You know what you could also do on the stream, like a trade breakdown. So if you're willing to share, obviously, like kind of the steps you take before entering a trade, what you look for, etc. Like a trade breakdown, if you're willing to do that. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I could do that. It would have to be during a live session or a different time, because I don't think there's gonna be anything coming up here for like the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, do like New York, like live session.
Yeah,
time you're
like
in
New
the
Year's
stream.
Open.
Yeah, I
sick.
think that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Sick.
What do you think, Flemo?
Yeah, I mean, Brad's a mad trader at the end of the day. He's a cheeky trader. Yeah.
I think it would be
All right, man.
interesting, and then post it all on TikTok.
Oh yeah. That's for sure.
Good talking to you guys. I'm gonna get out of here.
And you
Appreciate it,
take
bro.
care.
Yeah.
Thank you. Catch you later.
See ya.
You too.
Some guys.
Peace.
Dipping. Talk to you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Marin.
Bye bye. Marin.
Marin. Thanks for that, Samantha.
That's all right.
Appreciate the plug. Not the plug, but the questions.
As always come in at a useful time, don't I?
Oh, okay, here we go.